Alright, the wait is over. Hello and welcome to Vaidya's Chess Hub, and today is Thursday, the day when we will take a look at 4 study games, and we will also look at the video solutions, that is the solution video, let's say, sent by our students. I had given them the assignment that they should come up with some solution, make a video. They have shared the video. This is the second week they are doing it. We did it the last time as well, and I have no doubt that you enjoyed it the last week as well, and you will enjoy it today as well. So Alan, hi, I hope you are doing just fine for now, because you have been quarantined, is it not? We all pray for you, and we all are there with you, and we are also with Shreya and Godbole. Really, take good care. We are with you. We'll hope for the best. It's absolutely important that you take care of yourself. I'm happy that you're with us for this live stream. I will make sure that I offer you my best. So we are going to look at the study games, 4 study games, and we are going to start with the first one. As you can see from the setup, that this one is the Caro-Kann. The seniors, I want your 100% undivided attention for many reasons. Well, number one, there is some calculation to do, and there are 4 videos to see today, because I think we will take a look at Avdut's video today. He was supposed to send it to us last week itself, but he was a little late and in his submission, but I have included that in today's stream, so we definitely will enjoy his video today. So there are 4 videos today to enjoy. Let's start with the first one. Well, you know the move order here for this game, at least 100%. You see e4, e5, e4, c6, d4, d5. It's Caro-Kann. Now in this particular, the name of the opening is Caro-Kann, and there are a few good moves for white. Knight c3, and then there is the exchange variation if you want. There is this advance, not there, oops, the advance pawn variation, and there is also one with bishop d3, which is not so strong, because then there is knight f6 attacking the bishop after the pawns get exchanged. Alright, so what did white do in this one? There was exchange on d5, and white played c4. The idea is immediately challenging that pawn and maybe going for an isolated queen pawn on d4. I repeat, isolated queen pawn on the square d4. That's the idea, and it's not very uncommon, but at the highest level you will definitely see either knight c3 or knight d2 or even e5. So this is the exchange on the square d5, and then we have c4 on the board. Okay, Alan is saying that he's safe. He is, there are no problems. Alan, we are happy for you, man. Really happy for you. Alright, so now what? There is knight to f6. The pawn is protected twice now. Knight c3. Pawns are exchanged, and as I said, this is called an isolated pawn. Why is this pawn called an isolated pawn? Hello Sanchit, thanks for joining, man. You should join 5 minutes earlier. Join right now. You're a little late, I must say. Now guys, the thing is, this d4 pawn, it's an isolated pawn. Why we say that is because there is no other pawn on the c file or the d file that can render support to this pawn on d4. That's why such a pawn is known as an isolated pawn. Please be careful with this, okay? It's not a problem. Some players actually like such positions. Some players don't like such isolated pawns. But as long as it's in the queen pawn in the center, should not be that much of a problem. If there is this pawn island somewhere at the flanks, then definitely that's bad. These positions are not that bad, because you see them even at the grandmaster level. So yes, it's okay. Now let's see, black also wants to castle queenside, maybe that's why e6. White continued with knight to f3, knight bd7. Let's say why that is knight bd7. Both the knights can come on this square d7. Which knight? Knight which is on the b file. So we write this move as knight bd7. All of you now should definitely know such things. Knight bd7 also highlights the importance of not moving the same piece twice. You should not in the opening do what? you should not make the same piece move again and again repeatedly, because then if you waste time moving the same piece, well, your other pieces don't develop. That's the reason why knight b d7 is good. Another piece in the game. Now this is interesting by white. He immediately pushed this pawn. The main line here is to go queen e2 or castle even. That's okay. But here he played an interesting looking move, which is d5, which is playable. It's not a blunder. It is definitely playable. So what did black do? Black denied the exchange and went for e5 himself. Probably wants to push e4. The pawn will be protected by the knight. It is here that the game becomes interesting. Very interesting, in fact. Now what white did here was push this pawn one more time, and I think now this pawn is really peril for black. Black can definitely should be sad here. He's let that pawn go in the the heart of his territory, and that's not looking great for black. That pawn on d6, observe how lethal that pawn can be, covering e7. So now that means that the bishop on f8 has simply no scope. And well, Sanchit is telling us that he was attending tuition, that's why he's late. It's okay. Yeah, Alan, thank you so much for your support as well, and I mean my words that we will pray for you, and you also should pray for one of our students, Shreyan Godbole, who's been hospitalized. We are with you, and everything will be fine, man. Okay, the thing about the bishop on f8, we are talking about that bishop on f8. The bishop on f8 really has nowhere to go, if you see. It doesn't now have any scope on e7, at least on the regular diagonal. Maybe fianchettoing it will help. Well, we'll find out if black did that in the game. But definitely no scope on the regular diagonal. For black, played knight b6, attacking this bishop. So this knight's journey has been to d7 and to b6. Now wants to unsettle the bishop on c4. The newcomers, the bishop on c4 is said to be a hanging piece. What did I just say? The bishop on c4 is a hanging piece because it has no support. The bishop, the white bishop on c4 is called a hanging piece. So the new guys, please remember the terminology. A piece that doesn't have support is known as a hanging piece. So that bishop on c4 is called hanging. So black has attacked this hanging bishop on c4. What did white do? White gave a check. Bishop b5 check. Black simply defended the check with the bishop. Bishop d7. And now here, there's one obvious move that white will play, which is knight takes e5. Because that pawn is hanging. I just taught you this term, is it not? So this pawn on e5 was hanging and white took it. Well, black here, it's going to be a great struggle to find a good move for black. The bishop has no scope. Where would the queen go? Cannot castle. The knights really have no good square. Look at the position, guys. The bishop has no real square, no progress. The queen has nothing to do. The king is in the center, cannot castle. The knights really have nowhere to go. This is really disaster for black. Just take a look at this position. If you are the black player here, you would really struggle to come up with a good move. That is the difference of letting the pawn enter your territory so far. So that pawn is on d6 and it's massive. That pawn on d6 is absolutely massive. And attacking the pawn is probably the best idea. Let's see, bishops were exchanged. Yes, the bishop takes b5 was played. Knight takes b5. And now probably the queen. But where? But where and what? Just better to move the knight. Again here it's knight f d5 because both the knights could have come here. Which knight came on d5? Knight f came on d5. It is here that I will ask you to do some calculation. So I will grant you about, it's not hanging piece at the moment though, but yeah, it's support. 4 minutes for you guys, 4 minutes for you to do some thinking and come up with something in detail. The juniors just bother about the first two moves, but the seniors could definitely do some real calculation and it is definitely white to play. 4 minutes, guys. This is for Ayush. Ayush is asking what is fianchetto. Fianchetto is developing the bishop on the longest diagonal. Okay, if you develop the bishop on the longest diagonal, you say it is fianchetto. Always remember that terminology. After the countdown, Ayush, I might first go ahead and tell you what is fianchetto. Thanks, Jay. Jay, you should focus on the solution. Another 40 odd seconds. People are trying their absolute best, but see to it that you actually come up with something concrete. The seniors, the juniors have given us the start. Vihang also agrees with that D7 thing. Mohit also agrees with that D7 thing. Is that the best? D7 check. Prajna says that the knight will come back to F6 after queen F3 and then B7 will be hanging. Knight C7 will be a fork. 5 more seconds. Kavish has joined. The time is up, guys. The time is up. Alright, you've tried your best and now I'm going to show you what I think is really going to work. Hello, I think Kalyani has joined. Kalyani, D7 check. You should put the plus sign. Chinmay probably agrees with what's being said. So yeah, definitely D7 check is the best move. Now there are variations. If king E7, then queen E2, waiting for discovered check. What I'm saying is king E7, then there is queen E2, and then there is discovered check, winning the queen idea. That's end of story for black. So king E7, queen E2, and black resigned at this point. However, let's calculate something else. Let's calculate what happens if knight takes. Yeah, somebody shared this line. The stream is 100% fluent, as smooth as butter, as they say. So there is absolutely no lag. Namish, get to a better place where you have connectivity. The stream has been as smooth as it has ever been, rather. So anyway, so d7 check, knight takes d7. If it is played by black, well, what happens here is something extraordinary. Knight takes, knight on d5 is lost. Then again, it's so tough because then it's checkmate here. How do you stop this checkmate? Queen e7 maybe. The moment you do that, there is knight c7 check, king d8, and there is bishop d5. If there is f6, there is long castle. Take the bishop, and then queen takes d7. Force move is queen takes d7, rook takes d7, king c8, knight b5. So there are threats everywhere, guys. Now there are threats everywhere. The idea is to go with the rook, give a check, even double up this rooks and give a checkmate. So in this position, let's give black some hopeless move. Let's say he plays this. Then this is going to happen. The bishop has to now come out, otherwise this is checkmate. So let's say the bishop comes to e7. There's no good square for the bishop except b4. Rook c7 is check, king b8, knight d7 is checkmate. Just a long run here, just a quick calculation here. That's why if you play anything else, what follows is disaster. After rook check, then there is mate. So that doesn't work. Let's say black tries to scare this knight with a6. Then there is rook c7 check. If king b8, knight d7 checkmate, we already have seen that. If king b8, then knight d7 is mate. So let's say if black tries king d8, then there is knight f7 check. Force move is king e8, rook e1 check, bishop e7. Now rook, which is on the e file, takes, so rook e takes e7, king f8, knight g5, with the same idea of checkmate pretty soon. This is painful to watch. If the knight is taken, knight e6 check, force move, and rook takes g7 is checkmate. This is just completely losing for black in every way. So after check, if king e7, which was played in the game, queen e2, and now there is always this discovered checkmate threat. So let's say if knight f4 is played attacking the queen, well, then you have bishop, I beg your pardon, then you have bishop takes f4, still the threat continues, so that doesn't work. How do you stop this discovered check? There is no way to stop this discovered check. I'm sorry to say, that's why black rightly resigned in this position. I've also showed you what happens if knight takes d7. This is just a cute finish. Queen sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice, we get the queen back. a6 is a better try. Everything is so forced here. Beautiful checkmate. Talking of checkmate patterns, we're going to have the video by Omkar sir the next week. I'm sure you enjoyed this game. Let's take a look at this game one more time before we proceed to our next game. But yeah, we will watch first video, the solution video after this. It's the Karo Khan. And remember that you can go for this isolated queen pawn. You can try that. Knight b d7 was played. I like this pawn push idea. If black does not take it, then you get to the d6 square. That's menacing enough. Check. And now from this point, black really has no moves. As Vihang said, maybe bishop takes d6 is the best move, and sacrificing it. This is the end of story. Pawn on d7. Pawn on d7. Disaster. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's now go ahead and watch the first video. Let's see whose video we will watch first. I think the first video that we will watch is that of we will watch a video by Manas first. I'll tell you the reason. We are going to watch the video sent by Manas first, and there are reasons why I'm saying that. The reason is that Manas, next time you send a video, you have to be careful because what has happened in your video, Manas, is that you have changed the mode from the portrait mode to the landscape mode, so it has not come out really well. You should always be consistent with it, and more importantly, so that's the first mistake, Manas. The second mistake is your introduction. You said your name so unclearly. Because I know your name, I know it's you. So we will watch the video now and you'll realize. The third thing you can do is, when you are going to show the board, you have to show it in proper light. I mean, there should be bright light. So when you have shown your chessboard, now you will see this in the video, Manas. What has happened, unfortunately, is that it's all dark. So I was really not happy, but it's a good effort considering it was your first chance to display your skills. It's okay. And the final and the biggest mistake, Manas, you think that it would end there? No, the final and the biggest mistake. Alan is leaving us. What happened, Alan? You taking rest? All right. Yeah, sure. You can catch up with us later. Bye. Do take care, Alan. Anyway, coming back to Manas, the last and the biggest blunder is that you have messed up the coordinates. You have messed up the coordinates. Manas, white pawns go from the second rank to number 8 and the black pawns from the number 7 to number 1. That's how their journey is. You have set up the board incorrectly, and as a result, you've got the coordinates wrong. You have the position set right, but then that means that the pawns are going backward. So notice these 4 things. Guys, others also, please pay attention because it may be your turn soon, and who knows, you could also make some mistakes such as this. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch Manas showing us his solution. I will pause the music and I will show you his video. Observe all the 4 things, and Manas, look at the change, the landscape mode and the portrait mode, and there was no proper light, and you missed the coordinates, and your introduction. Okay, let's get started. This is Manas.
Hello guys, my name is Manas Zenzope. Today we are going to solve a position. So before starting the game, let us take some details of the game. So this game was played by Jurike Sibris and Berescu Ali, and this game was played on 15 August 2012. So let us count the material. 1 white king, 1 black queen, 1 white queen, 1 black queen, 2 rooks, 2 white rooks, 2 black rooks, 1 white bishop, 1 black bishop, 1 dark bishop, 1 black knight, 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 pawns, 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 pawns. So the position is equal. So the first variation is bishop takes e4 check, queen takes e4, queen c3 mate. Notice that the king cannot take the queen because of the pawn support. It cannot come here because of the rook. It cannot come here because of the queen. It cannot come here because of the queen. So this is mate. So the second variation is bishop takes e4, queen d3, queen c3 mate. Notice that the king cannot take the queen because of the pawn support, and black queen can also not take the white king because the bishop has pinned the king. So the king cannot come here because of the queen. It cannot come here because of the rook. So this is mate. So let us start the third variation. So bishop takes e4, rook d3, queen takes c1 mate. Notice that the king cannot take the queen because of the rook support. So the king cannot come here because of the queen, it cannot come here because of the queen, it cannot come here because of the queen and pawn, it cannot come here because of the rook and queen. So it is mate. So let's start the fourth variation. The first fourth variation is bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, rook d3, rook takes c1 mate. Notice that the king cannot take the rook because of the queen support. It cannot come here because of the rook. It cannot come here because of the queen. It cannot come here because of the rook, queen and pawn. So it is mate. So the fifth variation is knight, bishop takes e4, knight d3, queen c3 mate. Notice that the king cannot take the queen because of the pawn support. It cannot come here because of the queen. It cannot come here with the queen and the rook. So it is mate. So this was the position. Thank you.
All right. So, I have no doubt that now you've understood what I had observed, is it not? So he was saying here, here, everywhere, and the other thing was the lighting. Did you all notice that he messed up the coordinates? Be careful. All right, and what else was happening there, by the way? The pieces were falling everywhere. The gravity was extra in that room. I feel you dropped the pieces a lot many times there. So always be careful, mindful of those things, and you will, I'm sure, next time pay proper attention. Alright, we will go back to our videos. We will rather go back to our game and then get back to the videos. Time for the second game today. All are from the white's perspective. Okay, and you could have used the leeches, everybody, yeah. All the videos that I'm going to show today, well, you could have used the leeches board. Avanish in particular, you should have used the leeches board. You have used the chess base board, but that was very small, almost a miniature board. Anyway, so let's get started with our game number 2. Let me come on cam for that. Now you have me. So this is our game number 2, and let's get started straight away with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, which is Italian, bishop c5, and now you have c3, bishop dropped back because black anticipated d4, white played it anyway, queen e7, castling by white, d6 by black, maybe preparing bishop g4 or bishop d6, knight to g5, so there is clearly some threat on this square. f7, knight to h6, preparing to castle, but that knight does not look great. I'm sure you agree with that. That knight on h6 does not look great. Bishop e3, castling by black. f4, trying to get the open file for our rook. And knight, no, not knight, pawns were exchanged. Knight g4 here, pawn push. Now this pawn push was important because the f6 square needs to be controlled. At the later stage we will see. Knight took, there was black's plan to win the exchange. That definitely looks bad for white. Queen to h5, So if you take the rook, thank you very much, there will be mate on h7. I'm sure you see that. So obvious move is h6, and I think here is f6, attacking the queen, and black played bishop to g4, attacking the queen. And now there is queen g6 that was played. This was one of the ideas that are shown in one of our previous games. You must always be watchful. There is always this idea. And now the checkmate simply cannot be stopped. Whatever happens, queen takes g7 is mate, queen h7 is mate, except for bishop f5. Then there is queen takes g7 mate. So I think queen takes g7 checkmate is just unstoppable. Black resign. Let's take a look where black could have done a little better. Now here is a reverse question. Black played the move bishop g4 here. I know we are looking at white win from the white's perspective. We are looking at white wins. Black played this move bishop to g4. What was better? I want to know what was better for black to do here. Let me know, guys. If not bishop g4, then what should have black played here? Or what should black have played here? And last week, going back to those videos, last time I think Jay did it, Prajna did it on leeches. You have the option of doing it on your chessboards as well, but make sure that you don't go wrong in coordinates. Make sure that the lighting is proper. Yes, so seniors are right about this position. They are saying, why go for bishop g4 when you can actually play something like knight takes c4? And believe me, black could have just survived. It was okay for black to take that. So be very careful when the pieces are surrounding your king. There's pawn there on f6, there's bishop on c4, queen on h5, and knight on g5. Well, such positions demand proper attention and calculation. One move and black lost the game. So bishop g4 was just ridiculous because it allowed queen g6, knight takes c4, and black had a fighting chance there. No doubt about that. Alright, this was game number 2. Let's quickly go back and see what happened. This is a very simple game but yet effective. So if you get the Italian, or you should definitely try this idea of c3 and then the idea of d4. Nowadays GMs go for this move. This move order. I mean, it's amazing. But the knight goes for a tour. This knight on b1. Nowadays in Italian that happens a lot of games. That knight on the rim, yes, you're right, it's very dim. Here was a checkmate threat. Mind you, the typical errors the beginners do is attack the queen and still lose to knight the h7 mate. So don't do that. h6 is correct, but after f6 it should be knight takes c4. The red arrow is right. What black played unfortunately was the green arrow. And queen g6 meant that whatever happens, queen takes g7 is just checkmate. That pawn on f7 is absolutely pinned by the bishop on c4, which should have been taken, by the way, but was not taken for some reason. Never happened. Alright, time for us to go ahead and check out another video. This video is by Avnish. So Avnish, I have only one suggestion for you. You made such a brilliant video otherwise, but for this one blunder, you use the chess base board. You should have used the Lee chess board, because that would have given you a bigger board. With this chess base board that you used, you got a very miniature board. Now we will see. Otherwise, you had the headphones on, the recording was good, the solution offered was quite decent. You also gave the introduction correctly. The ending was super. There was no landscape and portrait mode. You did not get the coordinates wrong. So everything was there. Avnish, I'm happy. Manas, I'm happy with your effort also, but next time you can do even better. For Avnish, next time you can use the leeches board. And for those who want to use, their own chessboards, go ahead and do it, but get the coordinates right. Get the lighting arrangement right. Then that is really very, very effective. Okay. So let's go ahead and watch Avnish's video. I'm going to pause the music.
Hi everyone, myself Avnish Amol More, and today I am going to go through a position given by Maser. So let's see how does it goes. This is the position given to me by Maser. This game was played between Pavel Jarek and Idir Pransetter, and Pavel Jarek is white here, and the game is played on 20 July 2012. As we can see here, white has a queen, 2 rooks and 6 pawns, and black has a queen, 2 rooks and 5 pawns. So here the solution is rook d7, as here the rook is attacking the queen, and after the queen moves there is this threat of checkmate. So let's see all the variations of this. If queen takes the rook, then there is this checkmate, and if after rook d7, if queen tries to save the checkmate like playing queen g7, then this is also checkmate. Queen takes g7 is checkmate. And if second rook d7, the rook tries to support the queen by playing something like rook f7, then rook takes e7, rook takes e7, and there is queen f8 checkmate. If rook here, and if queen tries to support the rook to stop the checkmate, here it is queen g7 checkmate and queen h7 checkmate also. And if here, if queen ignore and plays something like e3, then the queen is free, and then this checkmate follows. Okay, so that's all. Thank you for watching my video, and bye.
All right. So I'm sure that you enjoyed it. There were a lot of positives in that. A lot of positives. Avnish, I'm really happy. But I hope you've understood. My point is that board was so miniature. It's smaller than the webcam frame that I have right now, is it not? So make sure that next time you use the leeches. And Jay is right. I think he used the OBS to do the recording. You have also done it very appropriately. Instead of the chess base, use the leeches board. You can zoom it. But all in all, it was wonderful. I'm really happy. I hope that the other students are paying proper attention here. Avnish should answer that in the chat. Vyang has a question. What if queen f6? What happens then? Vyang always type the move number. What happens if one queen f6 or what? What was your question? Type it properly. Bhargav, if you are live on the stream, let me know. By the way, I have to find 3 volunteers for the next week. Okay, 3 volunteers for the next week. Also, just to ask one more, rather not ask but tell Vihang why I did not ask for the solutions or did not give time for the seniors to do some calculation is because there was not much of calculation. Queen g6 was the only critical move here, but otherwise the game was pretty straightforward. That's why I did not give you separate 4 minutes to come up with something, but I bet that in the next game there could be such a possibility. So this game did not have that option. All right, well, time to get back to our next game, and this will be our game number 3 from the white perspective again. And here we go. From the white side, let me bring myself on the camera. All right, I'm there. Let's get started. And this game is also, I think, no, this will be Spanish, no, Italian, but with the Evans Gambit, if I'm not wrong. Let's see, if Bishop C5, let's find out. I think there was a game I wanted to show you. It's known as the Evans Gambit or Evans Gambit. The way you want to pronounce it is because it's a proper noun. Now, this is interesting. Even for seniors, you've got to tell me if this is something that you have actually seen before. It's known as the Evans Gambit. E-V-A-N''S. Evans Gambit. You give that b4 pawn because you gain the momentum on the bishop by playing c3 and then play d4. I have to be honest with you that when I was representing my college during the university times, Evans Gambit was one of my favorites. Over time, I stopped playing it, but I promised that when I saw this game, that curiosity was there again. I remembered this was almost nostalgia, and Vihang is also saying he played it once. Evans Gambit, okay. Also, one more thing is Bhargav has acknowledged that he's here. So Bhargav, let me know if you would like to be a volunteer for the next week. Meanwhile, Ayush Tavade wants to be a volunteer, but I think it will be too early for me to assign you for this particular solution because you have to find the solution on your own and it has to be correct. So give it some time. I will share the responsibility some other time. By the way, Namish, would you like to be the volunteer? So Namish and Bhargav are the two shortlisted candidates along with Chinmay. So these are the three people I'm banking on. Please type OK, sir, if you are okay with this. Bhargav, Namish, and Chinmay for the next week. If you want to be the one to record the video and probably have it shared over here, please let me know. So, Saumitra is saying, I've never tried it, unfamiliar. So maybe, Saumitra, this game is going to help you. I have no doubt about it. The idea is pretty straightforward and it is very effective. Very effective. You give that b4 pawn, all right, but then you play c3 and then you follow it up with d4 and that gives tremendous boost. Of course, if black plays well, of course there will be chance for black as well. But again, it's very aggressive, super aggressive. Chinmay is ready, Bhargav is ready, and I'm waiting for Namish to say yes, sir, or something like that. Namish, are you ready? Okay, so I've got yes from all three. Very good. I've got yes from all three. So the volunteers for the next week, before I go ahead and show you this game. The first one is Bhargav, the second one is Namish, and third one is Chinmay. We've got our three volunteers. Okay. No, never memorize. Saumitra, never memorize the lines. Just remember the basic idea for what you want to do. Alright, so let's continue with the game now. And what do these guys have to do? Bhargav, Namish, and Chinmay. What do you have to do, you guys? You have to send me a hello, sir, on my WhatsApp number, not on the group. There, by tomorrow or by Saturday, I will share positions with you with instructions. Then you need to send me your video on the email ID. Okay? And then I will share it on Thursday. Next Thursday, that is. Send hello, sir. I want the position on my number on WhatsApp, not on our WhatsApp group. All you three guys, Bhargav, Namish, and Chinmay. I hope you've understood it. If you have understood it, please type understood in the chat so that I can, breathe a sigh of relief that you know what to do. Yes, not essential that you try this, Mitra. You can stick to King's Gambit. I'm just sharing an idea. It is one of those openings that you could try. If you love the King's Gambit, do that. Now, the idea of Evans Gambit is that now the bishop has been thrown back at the diagonal where it's not aggressive. You will not enjoy this diagonal at all, this bishop on a5. So it is super aggressive. There is this d4, and after that pawn takes, of course this pawn is pinned, but now white can castle or do the queen b3 maneuver. There is castling also that white tries. So look at the white's pieces, super aggressive, and that's why you play such gambit lines. I always used to love this, as I have already mentioned during the university days. Whenever I represented my college, I clearly remember with white, if there was e4, e5, I would always go for this, always. Wonderful. After this, what happened in the game was queen f6. So there is going to be a lot of pressure on this c3. Oops, not there. A lot of pressure on the c3 pawn. e5 push by white. That pawn is attacked twice, so black took. Observe that the pawn was attacked twice and defended only once, so black took it. But then why did white push it? It's because he had the castling in mind, and then there would be an open e file. So now look what happens. Ooh, that's a surprise, is it not? That's a surprise. That's a novelty. Never seen that happen in the Evans Gambit. Now here white played king d1, and I'm not very sure if that's the main line at all. That doesn't happen. But here the idea is very simple. White wants to play the rook to e1 and get this queen pinned. That's probably the idea. So queen h5 check, bishop e2 blocking the check and attacking the queen. It's queen g6 attacking the g2 pawn. Remember, the queen has moved but is attacking the g2 square now. Rook was played to e1. So now there is no time for black to capture in this way. Otherwise, bishop will move and there will be discovered check with the king. And there is mate in 4 from here. I would like to give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes only, guys. 2 minutes only. If black takes that pawn on g2, then there is mate in 4 moves. So let's see if we can calculate. Mate in 4 moves from this position, white to play. Alright, half a minute more and Bihang and Saumitra have shared their line. One is with queen e4 and the other one is king d8. Jay has also shared a line with king d8. Mind you, Prajna, bishop f3 will win the queen, but there is even better. This checkmate, is it not? So in about the next 10 seconds, I will share the line with you. In the game, black did not take on g2. So we will definitely go back and see that. But if queen takes g2, then there is mate in 4. The time is up. And so here is the solution. Bishop h5 check is indeed correct. Magnificent. Bishop h5 is absolutely right. It's check. Now it's not check by the bishop. It is check by the rook. So this is known as discovered check. So those who are new, this is known as discovered check. The bishop was on e2. The bishop moved. and the check by the rook on e1. So this is a discovered check, not the check by the bishop, but you write it as bishop h5 check. So what does black do here? Queen e4 is just not good. So what happens if king d8? What happens if king f8? Well, king d8 is king f8. Let's take a look at that. We'll take a look at king f8 first. King f8 is mate in one move now because of queen takes f7. So you don't really need the 4 moves that I told you. You don't even need those 4 moves. So that's easy. So let's say king d8. Now your calculation is precise. Get the rook in. What a wonderful decoy this is. Well, this is the right idea of a decoy. A sacrifice to get the piece to the square where you want it. Decoy. D-E-C-O-Y. Again, D-E-C-O-Y. The idea of this decoy is you want the piece to be where you want it to be. So the idea is to get the king onto that d8 square. And now the idea is queen takes f7. Oops, what happened? Queen takes f7 check. King d8 is forced with the bishop support, and then a wonderful queen f8 mate. This is always very irritating kind of mate. And then you have friendly pieces, won't let king escape. All in all, well, that's correct. Nice calculation. All that if now black takes on g2. But of course, in the game that did not happen. Black played a prophylactic move, king d8. Now what is prophylactic move? Prophylactic move is something that you do when you see a threat as a precaution to take care, to secure yourself from the threat that is imminent, is known as a prophylactic move. That's very important, guys. Prophylactic move. Yeah. So now what happens here? Bishop a3 was played. There is always this thing about bishop e7 sacrifice, and when the king takes, the bishop could move again and win the queen. It's the idea. Black played d6, covering the diagonal, blunting it totally. Now queen b5, such an extraordinary move, attacking the bishop. So black played queen f5, supporting or x-raying the bishop. X-ray support for the bishop on a5. Well, such a support is known as X-ray support. I repeat that such a support is called X-ray. The black queen is supporting the bishop with an X-ray, like the support goes through the white queen, is it not? Because if white queen takes on a5, queen can take on a5. So it's an indirect kind of a through protection. It's known as the X-ray protection. And it is here now that I will ask the seniors to do some calculation, and I am going to give them again not more than 2 minutes for this. White to play. 2 minutes. Do the calculation. White to play. Well, the seniors were quick with it. They have shared something, haven't they? The juniors tried to verify whatever seniors said. That's also a good idea. If you have the answer right away, if you get it right away, you should always cross verify. Look at the answers provided by our seniors. Mind you, Bhargav has been very prompt. He sent a WhatsApp message immediately to me whilst I'm streaming live. that I am ready for the position. So I will share the position by Saturday. Everyone remember that. Last 10 seconds. The time is up. And by the way, whatever the seniors are calculated was absolutely spot on. There is a beautiful queen sacrifice. Now come on, tell me. Whenever there is a queen sacrifice, you all love that, isn't it? I mean, come on, queen is the most powerful piece, and then if you can sacrifice your queen to get a checkmate, what can be better than that? And indeed it is like that. This queen e8 check, forcefully Blackwell has to take the queen, and now this power of a double check. Guys, the juniors, we just talked about a discovered check. This is a double check, which is always a discovered check. Remember that. This is a double check. The bishop's giving a check and the rook has a check of its own. So this is a double check. And why is double check so powerful? The double check is powerful because the king has to move. You cannot block the check. You cannot take both the checking pieces in one single move. That is why double check is powerful, because the king has to move. And as seniors rightly said, well, the king has only two squares, king f8, king d8. Well, in either case, whatever happens is this checkmate. And is it opera mate? Let me know what you think of it, guys. Is this the opera mate? Talking of Prajna, thanks, that's nice. Prajna has shared that all double checks are discovered checks, but all discovered checks are not double checks. Thank you so much. It's brilliant. Alright, it is now time for us to go and see another video. Well, I think we are already nearing 7 o'clock, so we'll keep that last game pending. We will not take a look at that game today. We will take a look at this game next week. But now, for now, we will take a look at the remaining videos. So, whose video shall I select first? There are two videos remaining. I'm going to talk about Itesh's video first. So, Itesh did some good job. And for Itesh, my suggestion is, you were not visible in the video. Were you visible in the video? We'll find out soon. So you should also look at what the others did, how they shared their videos, and maybe you can also do the same. And Namish, Bhargav and Chinmay, well, you have now seen this for 2 weeks, now couple of weeks. So now you know what kind of video you need to make. Okay, all the best. Let's start with Itesh's solution, and I will have to pause the music. Let's listen to it.
Hi all, my name is Itesh. This is the game between Kovalis and Agilis. 1-0. The game was played in 8/8/2012, and here is the solution. First give a check plus attacking the queen too. So if bishop blocks here, it will be a simple checkmate. If queen blocks here, we will be a queen up plus getting a checkmate. It is bishop blocks here, because if queen comes here, it will be again a checkmate. So queen have to compulsory block here. Don't take with our queen, because here is the pawn supporting it. We will take the queen with our knight. Pawn takes and queen takes, and we will be a queen up in this position. Black has only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns, 1 bishop and a king. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns, a queen and a king. We can handle this position. So white is victorious. And if not that, queen takes plus giving a check and getting queen. So queen have to compulsory take here, and we will be a minor piece up. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Well, now that was something good, is it not? I'm sure you enjoyed that. Itesh did the best job this week. Avnish also did a good job. He would have been the best, but his board was miniature. That's not fair. We had to struggle to look at the solution. Hitesh did a good job with a big board, but the blunder he made was Hitesh was not visible. So Hitesh, you should also be on the camera. You are going to present the solution, is it not? You could have done better there, but all in all, you used the leeches very well and showed the variations. Well, what do the seniors have to say about that? Did he cover all the variations? By the way, Ayush has said that he wants to study all the gambits. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's why we have the checkmate series by Omkar sir, and I often try to show you different gambits, but there are so many that it will take time for you to know all, at least by theory. There cannot be anyone who claims he knows everything in chess. Not even world champion says that, dares to say that. And Soumitra has made the observation that the camera angle was a little shaky. The next time, everybody can pay attention to all these feedbacks that you get. Adjust the camera properly. You should be on camera. Well, you should be in your uniform. Those things are important, guys. And now, another update I want to give you guys. It's interesting. I established contact with Shreyan's father, and he said that things are okay. They are hospitalized, but the things, they are being taken care of, and as of now the things are okay. So that's a very heartening thing, and hope that it remains that way. Alan should, next time he is here, I'm going to request Alan for sending us a snap. We don't know how he is and well where exactly he is, so maybe he can share some images with us. I will ask him. Now we are not going to stop until we see the fourth video, guys. Remember, I told you we have one more video. That's the late submission by Avdut. Very bad, but he has sent it. So Avdut actually has also used his own chessboard like Soumitra did. The only thing again is that the camera angle is exactly from the top. It's a bird's eye view. I repeat, the camera angle gives us the bird's eye view, so it's almost looking at it from the heavens. So that's the thing that you could have worked on, Avdut, but otherwise you also did a good job, not of submitting the video late, but the solution. All right, so let's get started, and let's enjoy the last video before we conclude the lecture. Sure you're as excited as I am. Let's see. No, Ayush, don't worry. And anyway, I've told you that there is time for you to be given or made the volunteer or given a position. By that time, you'll surely, Ayush, you surely have the uniform and things like that. Okay. Prajna, I am not mad at you, dear. I am not mad at you, dear. Just for fun. No problem at all. No problem at all, Prajna. You did a good job. I was just saying that it was just hard work. That's it. But don't worry about it. Okay, let me now go and show you. Not this is Hitesh. No, not this one. Not this one. Let me again pause the music. And now it will be the last video. I'm going to show you Avdut's solution. Here we go.
Hello sir, hello friends, myself Avdut Patil, and today I am going to share you the solution of the position which was given to me by Amir sir. So before we look at this position, I am going to share with you the name of the players, the year when it was played, and the material count. So the players with black pieces is Talbot Andrew from Camacho, and the player with white pieces is Colados Josh from England. It was played on 1st April 2012. So now we will look at the material count. So here the white side is having a queen, 2 rooks, 3 pawns and a king. And the black side is having a queen, a single rook, minor piece which is bishop, 5 pawns and a king. So now we are going to look at the solution of this position. The first move is Queen e3 check. As we know that the f1 square is controlled by the bishop, so king cannot come to f1. So here the variation 1 move will be king h1. But by this move it is queen e1 checkmate. But we are having a rook and it can block the check on the f2 square. So we will look at that variation now. So the first move will be same, queen e3 check, but the second move will be changed, that is rook f2. But we don't have to leave our idea, we have to continue our idea, that is queen e1 check. The first move is rook f1, and also as all we are knowing that the f1 square is controlled by the bishop, so here simply queen takes f1 is checkmate. Thank you.
That was Avadhut's video, and well, the camera was so held high that we could not actually see the pieces properly. The solution was right. The solution was correct. Avadhut, I'm proud of you. Sanchit is here, is it not? Sanchit, pass on the message to Avadhut. He did a good job. But the view was not proper. He could have done it better. So remember that we have now seen 6 videos at least, or let's say what, 8 videos, 7 videos, maybe 6 to 7 videos, and they have taught us well of how the shooting should be done, what should be the video angle or the camera angle. Can we use leeches? Well, yes. Can you use the chessboard? Yes, as long as it is displayed clearly. And Ayush and all those others who don't have the uniform, you will have the uniform soon, okay? And we are all just waiting to come out of this pandemic desperately, is it not? 100%. That's why you have this in my background over here. Yeah, over here you have our hub, is it not? So everybody is missing it. By the way, time for us, I believe, now to stop. It was explained nicely, no doubt about that, by Avadhut. I've told you that. Yes, you are seeing Avadhut for the first time. Well, yeah, sure. In fact, I am seeing you after some interval, some gap, is it not? Because we don't physically now meet or see each other as regularly as we did earlier. Wonderful. So far, the best video has been by Saumitra. And even Jay did a good job. He used the OBS, by the way. So there is a tie between Jay and Saumitra, in my opinion. Those two were the best. Jay and Saumitra did a spectacular job. Today, Hitesh was really good. Avnish could have been clearly the best with the headphones, and the recording was so good. Avnish, very nice. But I hope that you have understood that the chessboard was really small. You should work on that. Okay, I'm sure you will work on that. So, yeah, this is, yeah, the background that you see is the image of our hub. Everything it's not from downloaded from Google. This one, again, where am I pointing at? This one, this is our hub. Ayush probably knew. Vardhan should also know this. That's our hub. Saumitra would tell you. Awesome. We will meet tomorrow. By the way, Omkar sir, I hope you read it in the notifications. Did you read that? Omkar sir has crossed 2100. Vihang, Saumitra, Datta should be careful tomorrow. Deep even should be careful when you play tomorrow. 2100 in Blitz. Omkar sir will be the favorite to win tomorrow, rating wise at least. I hope that you will put on a good show. I have no doubt about it. We will start 5 minutes earlier tomorrow. Those who have yet not enrolled, please make sure that you get enrolled very soon. Don't call me tomorrow at 5:55. That's not fair. Okay. All the best for tomorrow. The others should remember, Chinmay and Namish, send me a message on my number on WhatsApp so that I can forward you the positions for next week by Saturday. We'll stop for now. Do take care, and we will meet 5 minutes earlier tomorrow.